I use her rifle.
Welcome to the Charter Review Committee.
I miss Chris.
Chris isn't here, huh?
Yes.
We thank you for coming 6:30 because it was an ordinance committee meeting. I didn't know how long it would last, and they just finished. We have minutes from May 23rd and July 25th. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Robert.
Oh, I think mine were for June, not
I
July.
thought I had one of the
I
big
don't know,
ones.
the names are wrong. What are the dates?
I thought I had one for June 17th or 18th.
What's the one you just put in?
So have a guess on yours?
I thought I was the 23rd.
May.
And I remember it being around my birthday, but
But Bob, what did you do? You did July 25th, I'm pretty sure.
mine were pretty short.
Oh,
Tom Peak.
I
Let me
sent
see.
mine on Sunday night.
From the June 18th, okay. I have the wrong dates on here. So June 18th and July 25th. July 25th was Robert. I sent those out. And Tom sent the June 18th one. So you guys prepared to approve these minutes, or do you want to read them all? The July 25th one I sent out for the August 8th meeting, which was canceled.
I'm ready to approve.
Motion to approve minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. There's no mayor, there's no public speak time. Students told me they couldn't come. Okay.
Well, one's in,
They're busy.
both in college.
Yeah, they're
One's
busy being in college.
One's in DC and the other one's in
Northeastern. He's over there.
Northeast, yeah.
Good kids though.
So we did go through Article 5 last time. I'll go quickly. Oh, by the way, we're gonna finish this tonight, regardless of how long it takes. Unless people have a problem with that.
No.
We went through and already talked about most of, I'll go through them quickly. 5.2, we had 7 days electronic publication. 5.3, 60 days electronic publication. We all thought that was still good. No changes to the budget message. The budget, section 5.5.
Did you turn on the video? Yes.
That is
sorry.
on.
Sorry.
We did eliminated estimated surplus revenue and free cash, because that's never done and we can't do that. We all agreed to that. 5.6, action on the budget. So, C, we had asked, I asked the auditor since we last met whether, we should have a 2/3 vote, and we don't have to for the budget. My question is, should we keep it a 2/3 vote, because it's big? I'd like it. This is my suggestion, but that's up to you guys. We don't, it is a majority vote, though. I had originally thought it was supposed to be a 2/3 vote.
Is the,
I'm looking at 5C, 6C.
My only concern is if by chance something happened, we didn't have 2/3 and the budget wasn't passed, that's pretty big.
yeah, I mean, what kind of trouble can you get in if you don't pass a budget within a reasonable time frame?
Because then paychecks are late, and
What
I
if-
think.
what if-
Commonwealth of Massachusetts hasn't done it on time.
No, that's
Yeah,
not true.
right.
We get 60 or 90 days with the charter change to approve the budget. If it's not approved, it's done.
What
The
if
mayor
Ann
gets it.
gets elected though?
The mayor gets her budget. So, which is designed to prevent the city from falling apart. It's like shutting down the government doesn't happen if the mayor's, if we don't approve it.
Right, the only thing.
We lose our opportunity to change it, is what it
Right.
means.
So the only thing that the council can really do is vote down individual line items.
Yeah.
But I'm saying ultimately, when we approve the budget, if we don't have enough to pass it, and it's late, like it's in June, we run the risk of not having a budget start at the beginning of the first fiscal year.
It's true, and we've always passed the budget practically unanimously.
exactly.
So, I'd be happy to stay at majority if that's what you guys want. Does everybody feel like it should stay majority?
I think it's important to pass a budget.
So is it currently a majority?
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, and so, yeah, well, then, yeah, I don't see any reason to change.
Agreed.
I do get your point that it is a big thing.
Okay, we'll keep it at majority. So, we don't need the rationale I put into say that the council should pass it by majority vote.
It'll be in the minutes.
Moving on. We did agree that intra-department transfers, that language, we agreed on that the last time. Interdepartmental transfers, they must be 2/3, according to Val. And this is, I worry, this is me, with the approval, sorry about that, I'll turn that off. Except as in paragraph 2, the city council, the word may exists now. Why isn't it shall? That's a question I'm bringing up tonight by 2/3 majority vote.
That's a good point.
I think it should be shall, personally, because that means it has to be done.
Well, I think it's saying.
Oh, it's saying
well,
they can approve or reject.
Right,
Is that what
yeah.
may means?
Right, it's saying that we may approve it, but we don't have to. We could reject
Oh,
it.
You're
Yeah.
right, what am I thinking? I don't know
It's
what
been
I'm
a
thinking.
long year.
Yeah. And we talked about, okay. So the second section here goes to what I handed out to you tonight, which is my concern. I talked to Val at length. And I want to speak for Chris. Chris brought up that he's concerned that we're giving up, let's go start over. This is to deal with the last 2 months of the fiscal year and to the 15th of July, which is allowed by the DOR. It has to do with allowing transfers between departments within the same function of a budget. Now that function, we call them sections, the budget sections, general government, public safety. The reason we thought it was okay is because when city council approves the budget, we approve that bottom line in public safety. So if fire wanted to, or if the mayor wanted to move money from fire to public safety, she's not changing the bottom line of the budget. She's just using money from one department to another. During the regular year, she would have to get the approval from us. But at the last 2 months, we're allowing that, but only within that function. Okay? So Chris was concerned that we were giving up some authority, but my opinion is because they're not transferring money from the mayor's office to the fire department, say. That would be between two departments. We're not really giving up, our oversight was on the funds that we already approved. My problem is the word function. I think it comes from what Val called the Massachusetts accounting system, the Uniform Mass Accounting System, which they call MAS, which accountants use, and they call it function and organizational. So I wanted to change that, this is all me, within the same budget section. But then we'd have to define budget section. I'm asking you if the layperson will understand what function means when we talk about another city agency within the same function. Now, I went on to define it, or we defined it, like general government, public safety. So if we keep it like that, we don't necessarily have to add a definition. But when the people get the budget, I looked at it again, and for years, it says Section 1, general government, Section 2. So there's
Yeah.
budget sections. So I wanted to be consistent with that and use the word budget section here instead of function.
Okay, so you have two conflicting goals, right? You want it to be consistent with the internal terminology, but you want it to be clear to people coming from outside, so you need to pick.
No.
What the-
Val had said the same thing, but I said, what if we define budget section? So budget section is defined as it is, relates to the DORs.
Is there anything else in here that's defined that's used only once?
Probably, I don't know.
I think so.
So what's the problem with the definition being used only
just-
once?
Well, if you,
How many?
ideally, a definition is something that's used multiple times, so you don't have to restate the same thing multiple times.
Right.
If you're gonna say it once, you just say it once.
And then if you're defining everything.
Well, let's
where
go
do you
back to
stop
the original
defining?
question I have. Is the word function, and there's an example in here, general government, public safety. Is that sufficient for the people to understand? We are referring to the budget as set as sections.
I like what you have here for I mean, whether we put it in this language or in the definitions is whatever, but I do think this language helps to clarify what we're talking about when we say budget section, and I do think that that is clearer than function, which is a term that I was unfamiliar with.
Yeah, and I don't understand the DOR thing.
I don't necessarily think that to the average layperson, there's much of a difference between function and section.
I think, really, yeah.
They're gonna
I
be
kinda
like,
agree. I
budget
think it
thing?
matters more to city councilors. I'm fine
Yeah.
with this, but I think it matters more to the people who are actually working on the budget.
That's probably true, but we probably read the charter more often than anybody
Yeah.
else.
Exactly.
Well, and I do, I say we put i.e. general government public safety there, so it explains what the function is. So it can't be interpreted by a future city attorney as anything else.
Or you could say also referred to as a budget section.
Or could we just say within the same budget section as defined by UMass and just leave it at that? You know, the Uniform Massachusetts Accounting System. I don't know if we need to put all the words in that says they include but not limited to.
You say don't do a definition, but put budget
Budget.
section as defined by,
Function.
or same function as defined by,
Uniform Mass Accounting System and just leave it at that.
My only concern there is that we have no idea when they might want to do some, like, overhaul of their accounting system.
well, yeah, but they'll always have that.
Well,
No, they
not
might call the
always.
next, they might call the next thing something else. They might call it the new Massachusetts accounting system or something.
Yeah, they might decide to use a new system and name it
Well,
something
we could
else.
just put it in here, the same function as defined by the Massachusetts, Uniform Massachusetts Accounting System.
I think,
Or,
I think you're trying to add clarity, and it does that. I don't think we need to be perfect. If we're gonna get bogged down on this, we're not gonna get through it tonight.
okay. Well,
Second.
I'm asking.
I
You
think,
know,
I
the
think.
words matter, that's
Yeah,
all I'm
right,
saying.
right,
I wanna
right.
make sure when,
I don't think either word has particular clarity to the average person. I don't.
so leave it as it is then.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm fine, I just brought it up as a thought.
Sometimes you gotta use the second.
Supplemental appropriations, I crossed off the words 2/3, it is a majority vote. I'm looking at C, according to Val, it's a majority vote. Because budgets are appropriations, interdepartmental transfers are not, they're a change in what has been appropriated. Capital improvement program, we changed the numbers, that might be Barbara. So basically, Article 5 is okay as we've submitted it? Everybody's okay with that? Can I have a motion to approve?
Take it.
So you are taking a minute?
Yep.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
8-0. Okay. Now, Article 7.
One quick question, sorry.
Okay.
How are we gonna approve, Costa McCoy's minutes?
We will have another meeting because I believe the attorney is gonna come back to us with what he thinks. This goes to the city attorney. I already sent some to him.
2 times now, I promised my kids this is the last meeting.
All right.
Last meeting for a
I'm not
while.
having big talk.
Well, let me say this. If the city attorney comes back with, change these words and they're just minor,
Then we can just go to council.
I think it goes to council. But if he says you can't do what you want to do in Article 6, like we wanted to redefine DOR, and you had a big question about that, I mean, the DPW, and you had a big question about that, Robert?
Yeah.
Well, he may say you can't eliminate the language. Whatever he says, do we need to meet to discuss that?
My guess
Are we
would
allowed
be,
to?
Let the
That-
city council deal with it?
well, if it's something that he's not giving us any choice on, like just,
Yeah.
we
Then we
come up
don't
with
do
an
it.
idea, he says, no, you can't do that. That doesn't require us meeting him. If he says, this isn't good, but these 3 options would work, then that might require us to, I don't know. I guess.
Well, do we want to recommend it to the council? But that could be a long council meeting, because this is a big document.
Well, I guess that's true.
I would like us to meet only if that scenario comes up,
Where
where we
there's-
have to make a choice, because the city attorney says, you can't do this, but you could do that.
Well, so in that case, when.
And it could be just that one section, we won't deal with the entire
Yeah.
document, you know?
I guess my question is just like, I've never been on a thing that's about to dissolve. How do we go about approving
I think
the
you can-
minutes for tonight?
I can't remember the specifics. There may be a way to query the members without actually having a meeting. East Long Meadow went through, they eliminated the Board of Selectmen, created the town council.
You know what, that's a good
So
question. I'm gonna
there was
ask
a
the
process by
co-chair
which
to ask the
those
open
last
meeting
minutes
law
had to
people
be-
Okay.
at the Attorney General's office, can minutes be approved without a formal meeting if the committee is
Dissolve.
dissolved?
Or, Barb may know.
Yeah.
Because,
I'll-
Omar, you owe us minutes too, so.
And
I'll write Barb tonight about that.
No problem, but we can do that too.
Sorry to hold things up, I just.
No, 'cause I had assumed we'd have a wrap-up meeting to approve this meeting's minutes, but it's an endless loop. Every meeting has minutes.
Right.
So at some point in
Yeah.
time, you have to,
It would be good,
Cut the cord.
it'd be good to know that, Mr.
Yes.
Rules person, so.
Yes, I'll check in, I'll write Barb tonight.
But we won't dissolve until I find out what the city attorney says, because I
Right.
think it's our obligation to present to the city council what our final recommendation is.
yeah.
All right, so Article 7, just so we know, what you're approving is language other than the ranked choice voting language that needed to be in here, that has to be approved by the voters. This is going to be hopefully approved by the act. So there really isn't a lot in here. There's precincts we did. We eliminated preliminary elections.
They never existed.
Barbara capitalized things. As certified by the city clerk is added under petitions to the council. We decided to do that. We changed the amount of days, give us more time for city solicitor review, action on the petitions from 30 to 90 days. This is what we talked about. Anybody have any problem with that? Supplemental position, it's 45 days. We just used the numbers there.
Well, we did the approved rather than rejected thing, C.
Where was that?
C of 7,
Oh, yeah,
8.
I'm sorry, I jumped to 8 for some reason.
7-8C.
Getting there. The measure shall be deemed to have been approved on the 90th day.
Yeah, when previously it said rejected.
I wish the state senate has something like that right now.
Well, there's a threshold here that, you know, it's pretty, and they have to do a lot before they get to that point.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's a good thing.
And then you can't just sit on it.
Well, yeah, because if you sit on it, you just reject it by lack of action. That's why we did that. I'm just trying to read why we
Yeah.
did that. That makes sense. That's a
If you
major
wanna say no,
change.
yeah.
From rejected to
Well,
approved
that's
is a
why
major
I pointed
change.
it out. If you wanna say
Yeah.
no, say no.
You can reject it. But it's 90 days after the city solicitor has sent you back, after it's
Yeah.
been returned.
Yes, you've had plenty of time to look at it.
And we added more time, so the council can't.
Yeah.
And I really do believe if somebody goes through all this work, they at least deserve for you to tell them, say no and tell them why.
Truly.
You can't, do not just ignore it, like,
Okay,
so I think this is great.
Yeah, there's a pretty high bar. I agree.
but that was a good change.
Mm-hmm.
We've done some good changes. 7-9 referendum, I don't think we changed anything except put numbers in there. Okay, so Article 7 is done. Anybody have a problem with approving that? Motion to approve from you guys, somebody?
Second?
Who moved?
Anybody.
You got it, Joe? Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Article 8. The number and gender,
Okay, you can't have and a semicolon. If you have a semicolon, there's no and.
Where's the semicolon? Oh,
At the end of the
yeah,
previous.
singular.
that's a
Phrase.
quote from you.
No, I've been telling you for
You
months
did?
now that if you have a semicolon, you have no conjunction
I
after it.
understand
is
that, but you
the sole purpose.
sent me
No.
this and I put it in
I
there.
did not send you that. I sent you nothing.
All in favor of eliminating the word "and" before Sarah has a...
All right.
Or,
There's only so many times you can say something.
May include the singular. Words importing any gender shall include all genders.
Is that a typo in plural? Is that the wrong plural?
Hmm?
This doesn't sound right, Sarah.
Isn't it? PLE?
Plural.
No, it's just,
Number
Or is
may
it-
include the singular.
No, do you replace the
okay,
semicolon with a
so many
comma?
people are asking the same, what did you say?
My question was plural, is that, I mean, plural, is that the correct spelling for that type of plural?
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking
What if,
PLEURA.
going to what David said, because it makes
Oh,
more
I see
sense
what
to
you're
me.
saying.
What if we include the
Just place.
singular, Sarah, and had a comma and words importing?
No, no, no.
But this
no.
doesn't make sense to me.
It's, it's 3 independent clauses. This last clause is functioning the same way as the middle clause. Each clause is an independent clause.
Oh, because
They're
the other
linked in
semicolon.
terms of idea, right? But they are independent in terms of grammar, which is
All right.
why it is
All right.
perfectly reasonable to
Fine.
have 2 semicolons separating 3 clauses, just as it did before.
It just, I know it's wrong grammatically, but it reads better to me.
We speak this way all the time. There's
Okay,
nothing
good
wrong
enough.
with
All
it.
right, I eliminated the word and.
Thank you.
Periodic review of the charter, we changed this quite a lot. All charter recommendations shall require 2/3 vote by both the special committee and the full council. We changed that to 2/3 last, well, I don't know when we did it, but not majority.
Yeah, and it's 5 additional persons.
In other words,
and
we-
they're confirmed by the full council.
Mm-hmm. But we did want it to be 2/3 like we're doing now, but making it permanent. We did 2/3 by rule, council rules.
Yes.
So majority approval is gone, it's 2/3, okay? Ordinance review, at least once in every 10 years, ending in 5. This is a change because by taking the word may out, we are demanding that the council act on it.
Well, right, but we talked about this
I
because we
know,
said,
but
why
it-
have it in here if it's just an option? If it's just an option, you don't need it in here. If it's in here, you should do it. So do it.
And I think we should do it too. I mean, I'm just bringing up what we talked about before. We want to make sure, we still want to do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm fine with it. What do you think, Joe? You've been in the council a long time too.
Yeah.
Somebody should.
So,
presumably
the next time this could happen,
read the ordinances.
2025.
well,
I mean, they could do it whenever they want.
At least.
once in
the at
every
least-
10 years,
The at least though.
Starting
and every
covers,
year
like,
ending
makes
in
it
5.
Alright.
So the next time it's gonna be done is 2025. Next
So
time
we
it
got-
has to be done.
Yeah, I got plenty of time to dodge that.
Okay. Like Barbara said, there's plenty of ordinances that are just, we should get rid of.
Then it's a worthy addition.
I mean, even if they did, I mean, ordinances are like that. So even if they did page 1 through 100 and then dissolve and
Yeah.
something.
The
Give it a
charter,
try.
the charter language, the rest is deleted, a charge. That's Barbara. We deleted this, a charge not to exceed the
Mhm.
actual cost. We don't do that anymore. I don't see why that has to be in the charter to begin with.
Well, it's transparency then.
Uniform procedures after multi-member bodies. All meetings must be posted on city buildings and boards on the city website. And from the last time, we did use the open meeting law, MGL Chapter 30A, Section 19A, instead of current state open meeting law. So we used the actual law.
Mm-hmm.
We don't put copies of the records anymore in the public library.
You don't have.
So,
Why is it in the charter? Okay, we had this big question. You see in green there? That was my question.
It has to be the membership appointed, because otherwise what's the point of a quorum?
Okay.
Because you could, if it's just the members present, then you could make a quorum out of anything, and that's not
Well,
how quorums work.
No, I think it's not about the members present, it's about, so say that you have a board that theoretically should have 9 members, but it only has 7. Is 5 a quorum or is 4?
No,
No,
no, she's saying 5 is a quorum.
yeah, I'm saying, because,
It's not the,
okay, quorum and a 2/3 majority, I think we're confusing the word quorum here, because quorum literally means a sufficient number of the members of a particular body to hold votes, right? Like, that's the sufficient number.
Right.
right? So, are you talking about like when there's one person absent and then like when you
The
need to
problem
pass a
that's what
vote?
occurred in multi-member bodies is, as he just said, if you have a 9-person board, but only 7 members have been appointed and they're having trouble finding other members, and 7 members would mean you would have to have 5 always there.
Yeah.
We could change the language
The
to say.
Federal Election Commission is now unable to function because they lack a quorum. Because
Which is
no
the
one will appoint
point,
anybody
which goes
it.
to my point. Should we change the word quorum for multi-member bodies to those currently
That's not what quorum means,
appointed?
though.
We could say currently appointed,
Right.
which would mean,
The drawback is, there's no incentive to fill the body.
Yeah, I don't,
Yeah,
yeah, I agree.
yeah,
well,
exactly.
that's a good point,
I
right?
agree, I agree.
And also, I get concerned about the idea that a body that's envisioned to include a lot of people would suddenly not include a lot of people, and then,
you can,
No,
you
but I-
end up
I agree with his
selectively with
point.
whatever member.
If you have 7 members of a 9-member board and 5 show up, they could still do things.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, you just gotta show up.
So I think it should stay. I don't think we should change it.
No, no,
Well, and Barbara will be happy with it.
and we don't need
That's her
to,
position.
yeah, I mean, you can't redefine quorum.
No, I didn't bring it up. Somebody brought it up that this has been happening. Was it Barbara?
I feel like we've had like several conversations about this with like a lot of different
Yeah.
positions as people like to chew on it, but I'm comfortable with the idea that it is the number of positions, because
Yeah.
you have to have that incentive to. And if you consistently can't find the right number of people, maybe that's time for you to go to the council and ask for an ordinance to reduce the size of the. And we've done that before.
Yeah, EDIC did it twice. We went from
Yeah.
15
I
to 10
think you're
to
totally
9.
right. It just, I don't know, somebody brought it up as people can't function. I says, but that's a great point that David brought up and Omar agrees with, that
Yeah.
there's no incentive to fill the posts.
So as written, maybe just so I understand it. if
We're
you
not
have a-
changing it.
If you have a 9-member board, as
That's
it's
5
written,
people.
5 people would be a quorum.
Mhm.
And if 5 people are present, then a majority of those 5 people could make decisions. So
According
3
to
people
our
could make a
definition of
decision.
majority for
Yeah,
multi-member
yeah,
boards,
yeah.
it's a majority of those present and
Right,
voting.
Right,
So if there's 6 people there, you only need 4 people to pass something.
right,
But you can't do anything unless you have at least 5
right,
for a 9-member board.
right. But 3 people effectively in that scenario can make a decision on behalf of a 9-member board.
If you wanna
We
vote,
change-
show up.
Yeah.
We
yeah, I'm
changed
just
it
so I
from the
understand.
council.
Yeah.
The council used to do that, and we had a couple of things passed by only 3 members of the council. This is wrong. So we changed that the last time, 2010. Going down to notice of vacancies, we changed that to publication, right? Sorry, I moved again. So I'm removing the word communication, and we're not doing the city's website, just
Yep.
electronic publication, okay? Nothing changed in 813 or 814. I have a real problem with the word conterminous, which I believe has to deal with geography and 2 bodies that are close to each other. So I suggested the word concurrent, but we haven't made a
I
final
believe I looked up
determination.
conterminous and that there is an older definition that basically means concurrent, but concurrent actually
Works better.
it's clear.
Yeah, I mean, I've never.
I had
doesn't
to look it
change
up,
the
and I
meaning, right?
basically
If
know
Sarah has to
that.
look it up, then it's not a good word to have in the instruction manual.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, like,
That's a good point, that's what this is.
it makes sense, but
Okay.
it's just not a useful word because it's
I think concurrent maintains the idea, right? Okay, may I have a motion to approve Article 8?
removed.
All in favor?
Aye.
Article 9, a lot of this was done by the city attorney. I have 2 things to bring to your attention. One is Barbara, time of taking effect. The yellow, any amendment to this, section 9.6. Everything else in here is done by the city attorney. And then nothing major. Any amendment to this charter shall become effective upon its approval by the voters voting thereon. That means that we wouldn't be able to have any amendments done by legislative act. And Barbara says,
What did it say before?
just the red is what it said before.
Well, if that's what it said before, then that's what it meant before.
No, I'm not sure that's what it said before. That's his. I have to go look at the charter. Anybody have the charter?
Omar to the rescue.
Thank you, Omar.
I thinned out my binder.
My
Oh, I
binder
have it right
gave
here.
up.
I have it right here, too.
My binder.
Omar, you get it first.
I have a giant pile on my desk.
Okay. This charter shall become effective upon its approval by the voters voting thereon and in accordance with the following schedule.
But see here, I know what he meant. This charter, this
This
is
specific
transmission.
version.
This charter, the first version that was
Mhm.
approved by the
Yes.
voters. So we don't need this language anymore.
No.
We need language that Barbara suggests. Any amendments to this charter shall be in accordance with Mass General laws and provisions of the charter governing same. That's the blue right above, that's what she suggests. So, if we agree that 9-6, that language was about the first charter being voted on, does everybody agree with that?
I do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Then we don't need that language. We do need something.
Catch
Well,
bar.
yeah.
Or do we?
I think that the language that's being suggested in blue is good, because it's saying the process is Mass General Law. And Mass General Law and the Home Rule Act,
Or how you.
spell this out pretty clearly. I mean, we had a series of long discussions about the detailed process that the state lays out, so.
Well, then I'm just gonna eliminate all this language and tell Mark that we believe that this was for the first charter. Not this one. And we'll just keep, any amendments to this charter shall be in accordance. Now, the rest of this is pretty much deleted. I also want to delete and ask you a question. Should we eliminate the entire thing? Because the stuff about the organization, I'm going down to, way down to A,
Underneath the
police
green
chief,
bottom.
fire chief, all of these. And you can see that the administrative code, she has it in here, changed some of the names and titles of these things. Why do we need them in the transition? That was a transition from town meeting form of government to this.
I've always been a little confused by this provision because it seemed to be, yeah, like you said, just making sure that the same services all continue to cross. And we have, under our city form of government now, functioning systems for all of these.
Well, the administrative code, which changed them,
Right.
so they can be changed by administrative code. In other words, we'd have to update this to current positions that are available.
And it seems,
Yeah, this is superfluous, we don't need it.
Yeah, we don't need
Yeah,
it.
but it
This had to
also-
do with the last charter
Right.
changing it.
yeah, and it also seems unnecessarily restrictive. Because like adding in the EDIC, so it's seeming like people have to go back in and add things when they want to do things. And that seems kind of problematic in some ways.
Well, I'm gonna suggest then, if you guys approve, that we change, that we eliminate all of 9-6 except for any amendments to this charter shall be in accordance with Mass General laws and provisions of this charter governing same, and the one from ranked choice voting that's coming.
Yes.
So we wanna keep a
Yeah,
9-6.
Right. One thing, should it say, any amendments to the charter shall be made in accordance with Master's general laws and provisions of the charter?
That'd be fine with me. Do you wanna do that,
Yeah.
everybody? Okay.
What was your, what did you say?
So it's at the top of section 9.6, it currently says, any amendments to this charter shall be in accordance, and I was like, should it say shall be made in accordance?
And what I'm gonna say is the committee feels the remainder of this section had to do with the charter changing in 1996 and is no longer applicable.
I'm curious whether same is particularly clear. I don't remember
What
that.
are we talking about?
The last word, governing same.
Last word in yellow,
In blue.
That's
Blue.
Barbara's language.
Well, same thing.
blue or yellow?
I'm just not sure how clear
Clear, yeah.
that is. I mean, like, I think it's clear to some people, but is it clear to everyone?
It's clear to me.
Is that clear that it's referring back to this charter? I don't know.
It's kind of a weird wording, but
The word
I
same
understand what
refers
it
to
says.
amendments, doesn't it, Sarah? any amendments to this charter?
Yeah, I mean.
Instead of saying governing those amendments, do we want to redundant?
Yeah,
Is that
so,
redundant?
yeah, I'm just asking.
It's
whatever
legalese,
makes
I
it
think.
clear. Yeah,
Isn't it?
yeah, that's fine. It's a little bit,
Well, we'll see what the boss says, the boss, Mark. So everybody's okay with eliminating the rest of this?
But keeping it open because we're gonna have to drop the ranked choice voting.
Anytime we have a change, the time of taking effect may be,
you gotta deal with
Yeah.
it.
What section is ranked choice voting?
Oh, there's in section 9.6, if the legislature were to pass it,
That's
it would
what's in.
add a paragraph into 9.6.
if the voters pass it. We
Well,
don't need
yeah,
9.6 if the
yes.
voters reject
Yeah.
ranked choice voting, right?
Correct.
Am I right?
Yes.
But that may or may not be our business.
But, yeah, so provided that everyone who has a say in this does say yes, there will be a paragraph added to 9.6 that basically says.
Time of taking effect.
Yeah, how the ranked choice voting is gonna roll
How
out.
long they can
Okay.
dodge it.
All right, so with that, we're done, right? Told you it'd be a quick meeting.
Well, wait.
All right,
Oh, wait, it's add to.
Do we want to do anything about
Not much, it's just, I saw you had a few things.
what? What? Dave?
No, just, I'm just going to the table of contents, is that, you all set with that?
Yeah, Barb, I think Barb said, there's a green at the top of this new one that says she's gonna fix it once
Okay.
we
Cool, done.
rejigger it and it's approved.
Yes, because the table of context is not about.
Do we have to vote on 9.6 though?
No, we have to vote on 9.
Nine, I'm sorry.
No.
We have a motion to approve Article 9.
Motion.
Second. Pat moved. Tom, all in favor? Guess what? We're done.
That's what.
What was this that you passed out?
We rejected that. Everybody thought the word function.
Too late.
Yeah.
That was about 15, 20 minutes ago.
I didn't realize we whipped right over it.
All right, I will send this to the city attorney.
Hey guys, I just want to say thanks for
This is
sitting through this whole thing. It's been fascinating. I think we've done a lot of really good
I
stuff.
just want to show you how big this charter is when he has to look at it.
I know, it's so funny
That's
because
what he gets paid for.
I've been in the council for too long. I'm just seeing all this red crossed out that we're leaving. I'm like, you know how much money that.
Well, it's interesting, because when I talked to the mayor about the city ordinances, and, we'd have to get them, but she is very much, that's why she put the money in there. She said, yes, we have to do that. We can't pass those big deals with the wage theft and all that without getting his approval. Plus these, she knew this was coming. In fact, she said, do you think we can get it to the city attorney this fall? I said, well, yeah. I get it to the legislature this fall. I said, yeah, but giving their track record, it's gonna take 6 months to get it back.
Yeah.
So the next council should probably delay implementing this, because it's 2020.
Mhm.
I don't even know if we have to do it, but if you have to do another charter review committee, I would wait until we see what happens to this, because they may say, oh, you have to put this before the voters. They may say that.
Yeah.
And if they do, we have to wait 2021 to have it back.
Half-assed things usually bite you some.
Hmm?
You gotta do it, you gotta do it.
Oh, I don't know. A lot of it is, I call housekeeping, like this whole section 9, we eliminated it. But the biggest things that we changed were, the stuff in DPW was big.
That's very big.
And frankly, in a lot of cases where we did change things, we probably actually gave people more power to directly, interact with their government.
I think we cleaned up things. There was one
Yeah.
section, when we debated the mayor authority versus executive authority, there was one thing in there that said the council shall do this,
Yeah.
and we don't even have that authority, so we eliminated that language, say.
I
As I recall,
personally-
Article 6 is the biggest one
Mhm.
that we changed.
So
And that's consistent, having a director that's 3-year term is consistent with all the other departments. That's a
And
major
we
change.
should not ignore that ranked choice voting is a big deal.
Yes.
Yes, we passed that, but
That's a very.
that is going to.
Because that really changes how people interact with their government.
So when
In
I-
my opinion, for the better.
When I went to the Mass Municipal Association conference last January or February, they had like a municipal law expert there who was doing a seminar on charters, and I ran a bunch of the things that we were kind of talking about
Nice.
by them and by what we talked about, I think there's a really good chance that this will not require voter ratification.
I think most of it is administrative and/or housekeeping.
Yeah.
We clean up things that are, we cleaned up some ambiguity, I really think we did. I want to thank you all, I'm glad you're all here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We did more work
I hope
than
I was
us.
efficient and
Yeah, he did quite a bit of work.
respectful for you guys.
Yeah, keeping track of the changes was not an easy
Yeah.
job.
We started in September, it's a year. And that's all the charter gives us.
Yeah.
So if we meet again, hopefully it'll be a meeting necessary only because of a major change that we want to debate before we send it to the council. But I might just sit down with Joe and Tom and say, hey, what can we do?
Well, I'm
Should we do this?
certainly happy with the crew that I appointed.
I'm pleased with myself.
This has been fun.
No, it's good. And I have to thank
Where's
Pat.
Chris today?
Yeah, that's what I said.
He told me he couldn't come right back. Yeah, it's been good. We let them talk. I mean, they wanted to be involved. Laura was here for a while, but she dropped out, so I think she was all upset about the waitress or whatever.
I think she's just busy.
Yeah, her life got weird.
Okay.
Motion
All
to
right.
adjourn?
Second?
All in favor?
All right.
We did pretty good.